It's no secret turmoil has engulfed the city of Decatur ever since the police shooting death of Steve Perkins. It's possible the road where he lived could be named in his memory. Tonight, the city's planning board voted unanimously to rename Ryan Drive to Steve Perkins Drive, but it still has some hurdles to become official. WAFF 48's Nick Ballinger was inside that planning meeting and spoke to the woman who organized the change. Nick, not everyone is on board with this proposal, however.
Well, Margot, before the name of a road can be changed, the person who filed for that change has to ask every single person who lives along that road. They need 75% approval. Now, right now, 31 people who live along Ryan Drive have said yes to the change. One person has said no, but they still need 3 more yeses. Now, that's 3 yeses they'll have to have by the next city council meeting. Thunderous applause filled the Decatur City Council chambers as city planning board members voted unanimously to rename Ryan Drive after Steve Perkins.
We're continuing to keep his name alive.
Nearly 20 months after Perkins was shot and killed by a Decatur police officer in 2023, Sharonda Ackland is pushing for the change. The idea to change Ryan Drive, where Perkins was killed, to Steve Perkins Drive started just as that, an idea.
It was just someone mentioned it, and as a collective, we're like, that's a great idea.
However, the change hasn't been met with unanimous approval from neighbors. Everyone who lives on Ryan Drive has to be asked about the change. 75% approval is needed. So far, 31 residents have said yes and 1 person has said no, leaving this petition 3 yeses short for now.
I said what I said because it's painful. We don't even go down that street anymore.
Brandy Taylor is the mother of Perkins' niece and doesn't want the name changed.
So it has nothing to do with not wanting to honor his memory. It's painful to see that. His wife, bless her heart, and the kids haven't even come back to the house to stay there. I understand why.
It will be a constant reminder. However, every time I drive down the street, I'm reminded.
Ackland says 11 of the residents weren't asked because they are just renting. So they'll now have to reach out to the owners of the properties if they want those 3 yeses. But she sees the planning board's unanimous approval as a sign of good faith by the city.
But to know that the board agrees and sees no issue with this, it definitely warms my heart.
Now, Ackland also tells me that there were 3 people who didn't answer the door when they were canvassing for signatures. Now, the city council will vote on this change during the next city council meeting. Reporting live in Decatur, Nick Ballinger, 48 News, on your side.